Welcome to another episode, everyone. PCs kill a Korean in prison. PCs, 50-50s, SNY, Sensitive Needs Yard. SNY stands for Sensitive Needs. PC stands for Protective Custody. They have PC gangs in prison. For those who do not know, they have the 25ers. They are a PC gang. The Zapatistas, the Cutthroat gang, and Against the Grain. They have different gang, Against the Grain gang. They have different PC gangs, and you're not safe even on a PC yard. A lot of these, the 25ers, a lot of them are like inmate dropouts. So these are ex-mafia members. And they're still over there on the PC yards, not accepting their fate, not accepting the fact that they're no longer real members. And they're over there and they'll hit you. This Korean dude got into it with them and they killed him, took him down on a PC yard. Man, check this out. This is Sergio Kwan.
On May 5th, 2022, Sidney King was murdered by two other inmates on a SNY prison yard at Kern Valley State Prison. SNY is short for Sensitive Needs Yard, and basically it's where all the dropouts, snitches, and pretty much any rejects get sent to a SNY prison yard. Kind of like protective custody. On these yards, there have also been prison gangs that have been forming for quite some time. Some of the biggest SNY prison gangs are the 25ers, independent writers, and the Zapatistas. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Anthony Ramirez was serving life and Michael Cardera was serving 71 years. Sidney King was only serving a 14-year sentence. Somebody messaged me on Instagram and they were like, how did this happen? Sidney must have been running with the Hispanics if he got taken out by two other Hispanic dudes. But what a lot of people forget is that these SNY prison yards don't operate under the same politics as regular general population prison yards. The 25ers and the Zapatistas have been going at it for quite some time. Bodies.
Yeah, and I don't know how people can forget, even if you haven't been to prison, common sense dictates, I'm sure, that the PC yard is not ran the same as general population yard, as the mainline yard. And it's true, these gangs, these PC prison gangs, have been going at it with one another. The 25ers and the Zapatistas have been vying for dominance for some years now, stabbing one another, and there have been killings back and forth on the PC yard, on the protective custody yard. So you think, well, I'm just going to go to prison and go to the 50-50 yard. I'm going to go to the PC yard, whatever, to stay out of trouble, stay off of the main line so that I won't get in any trouble and I can make it home. This is what you hear individuals saying that made the decision to go to the 50-50 yard. But you go over there to the 50-50 yard, PC yard, and there's still violence over there. Of course, it's not as prominent as it is on the general population yard, but nevertheless, there is still violence even on the PC yard. You can't escape it in prison no matter where you go. Now, again, this is Sergio Kwan, YouTube channel, Sergio Kwan. Shout out to him. I'm not sure if he's still on YouTube. The last video he did was 2 years ago. So, I don't know. Hopefully this individual's okay. Still go over there and check out his channel. But he hasn't been on YouTube in at least 2 years.
Dropping within the walls of the prisons. I just want to give a quick shout out to Gunner's Collective because he made a great video breaking down the history behind some of these SNY prison gangs. So I'm gonna have his video linked in the description below just in case you guys want to take a deep dive into some of these SNY prison gangs. But before we continue on with the video, I just have to remind you guys to message me on Instagram if you want me to cover something in specific. And I know it's been over 2 weeks since my last upload. I apologize, but I am extremely excited to announce my very first collab. Big shout out to Exotic Candies. I'm actually super excited about this collab because I've been buying their candy for quite some time. And when they messaged me on Instagram saying that they wanted to do these candies and they use strings, Starburst, all kinds of, they make them tamarino style. Stirs, some gushers, I feel, yep, peach rings. So if you guys ever candies, you feel me? You got that beautiful gusher with the tahini and the
damn about them candies, man.
Fire. I don't want to chew into the mic and shit. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Here at home, we turn to our homicide tracker, and for the third time this year, officials at Kern Valley State Prison are investigating the death of an inmate as a homicide. Officials there say they responded to
third time this year. Now, this was a few years ago, though. As I said, he hasn't been on YouTube in a couple of years. But there are many deaths there in prison, and that's the third one in that prison alone that year. Who knows what month that was? They probably had a few more coming that year. And when you calculate that with the other prisons and the deaths that they have in the California prisons, really in any prison. I'm finding out how dangerous USP Pollock is. Ferguson, you know what? All of these places are vicious and dangerous, and you can lose your life in these prisons anywhere. But speaking more of the California prisons, which I am more familiar with, you can certainly lose your life for a myriad of reasons. And here we see, again, on a protective custody yard where you think you may be safe, you can still lose your life.
Attack on the maximum security recreational yard around 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Prison officials allege that 40-year-old Anthony Ramirez and 35-year-old Michael Caldera killed 31-year-old Sidney Kang with two inmate manufactured weapons. Kang was serving 14 years in prison for assault. Ramirez is serving a life prison sentence for second-degree murder, and Caldera was serving a 71-year sentence for several second-degree robbery convictions. This is the third inmate death at Kern Valley State Prison so far this year, and the second recorded death just this month.
The Zapatistas consider themselves to be one of the elite prison gangs within the SNY prison yards. In order to join them, you need to have already caught a body. Yeah,
what?
The requirements are a little steep. They are considered to be...
You gotta catch a body to join a PC gang. What the hell? He said, Gunner, I don't know about a lot of these PC gangs, man. He said Gunner's Collective broke it down on his channel, the PC gangs, and what they all are about, and how long they've been around, and perhaps some of their wars or whatever. Maybe I'll go there at some point and check out what Gunner had to say about these PC gangs. I have heard about the 25ers and the Zapatistas, and a couple of these other prison gangs, but those are probably really the main ones, the 25ers and the Zapatistas, or at least it was by the time I got out of prison over 4 years ago, so I don't know now. But these individuals, they're vying for hierarchy. They're vying for status and dominance in who runs the PC yard, who's the toughest PC gang, the 25ers or the Zapatistas. What the hell? And you got to catch a body to be a PC. You got to catch a body to be a PC. You got to catch a body to join a PC. You want to join our prison gang? You got to catch a body to join a PC gang.
One of the newer SNY prison gangs, and they have also been making the most noise. The 25ers, on the other hand, the gang that Sidney Kang was a part of, they've been around for quite some time, and they are considered to be one of the biggest SNY prison gangs. Most of the members of the 25ers are inmate defectors, and they're mostly from down south.
You have gangs like the 25, right? That were a lot of them in the beginning, man, were inmate defectors, or people from down south, Southern California, that decided, if for one reason or another, they weren't going to participate at the Emma's dictation anymore. So deeper. They got deeper when this influx of deep.
You have the Northern Riders too. They have a PC prison gang, the Northern Riders, something like that. Yeah, you got a bunch of different PC gangs that are going at it. Well, man, it's over.
Or degenerates or non-actives started to flood these yards, man, and they started to recruit them.
And a lot of these SNY prison gangs, they join to intimidate and take advantage of the other inmates that are doing time on these SNY prison yards. These gangs use their intimidation skills and just violence to get their way. Aside from the Zapatistas and the 25ers, there are also other SNY prison gangs that are worth mentioning, like Against the Grain, Bad News Banditos, Northern Riders, and Cutthroat Family. So it probably makes a lot more sense on how these three dudes ended up on the same yard. One facing life, one serving 71 years, and another guy only serving 14. Some people would be like, how did they end up on the same yard? Well, it's because they were on the S and Y yard.
Right.
These yards have little to no hierarchy, no politics.
If you PC, then you're going where all other PCs are at. There's no, particularly PC yard. They don't have levels to this. You just go into a PC yard. So you're going to be over there with a bunch of other PCs from all of these different neighborhoods, different gangs, different PC gangs, and they have different amounts of time. A lot of these individuals have life in prison already, life without parole. They have nothing to lose. The same amount of time that individuals on the main line have, they're just not on the main line. They're in protective custody. But they all will merge on the same yard together because they're all PC. That's crazy. And so the dude that they didn't took out was a 25er. Apparently, the Korean dude, I guess, that they didn't kill, he was a 25. So they're beefing. They have deadly beefs, deadly wars, deadly gang wars in prison on a PC yard. You can't even survive. You got to hit the PC yard and pick a side. Where you from, homie? You going to be a 25er? Which is half of a 50, 50, 50. You going to be a 25er? Or you going to be a Zapatista? A cutthroat family? A Northern Rider? Man, I don't want to join your prison gang. I don't want to join your prison gang. I just want to be a PC. No, you got to join a prison gang. You may as well stay on the main line. What's it? You may as well stay on the main line, man. What are you going over there for? You may as well stay on the main line. They got gangs over there, and you have to make a decision as to join or not, and that decision can possibly cost you your life. In the same way that it can on the main line, you may as well stay on the main line. What the hell?
And it's pretty much just chaos. So naturally, when these gangs start to go at it with each other, they're not operating and going to war under the same politics. So I'm assuming it's a big shit. The Zapatistas have allegedly been going at it with the 2-5ers, and they've been taking out fools left and right. So it looks like Sidney King was just another murder victim of this deadly prison gang war. So this story should just go to show you that nobody is safe behind these prison walls. I heard somewhere that the S&Y prison yards were formed because so many people were dropping out and going to protective custody. And traditional protective custody involves you some way or another serving 23 hours of your day inside of a cell. And naturally, when you've got a buttload of people going to PC, all of those cells are going to get filled fast. So it only makes sense that once they started running out of room, they integrated these PC people into these yards and they considered them S and Y. Now, I might have gotten some of that mixed up. If somebody could correct me in the comment sections, please do so. But the fact that these yards have little to no politics, no hierarchy, no real order, I can only imagine that it's an absolute because to my understanding, if some Hispanic dudes took out an Asian guy on a general population yard, it would probably end up in a race riot or a war. But since these 3 individuals operated inside of a S and Y prison yard, they don't operate under the same politics. So those rules of a general population yard don't apply to a S and Y yard.
Well, no, they don't apply to a S and Y yard. And not so sure it would even go up on the main line if they took out a Korean dude, because there are only a couple on the yard. It's not going to be really a war unless another race had you all's back. If they killed someone from another race, yeah, it's going to go up. But a Korean, I'm not so sure because there's only 2 of them on the yard.
I don't know too much about Sidney King. I did notice the H on his face. I noticed that he had a write a prisoner profile. But if anybody knew him personally or knew a little bit about his past, be sure to share something in the comment sections below or message me on Instagram, whatever you want to do. Having said that, this story really just goes to show you that you are never safe behind these prison walls and that you are not guaranteed an exit date because anything can.
Wow. Damn. PC done took him out. Rest in peace to that dude, man. He was a PC too. 25er. He got into it and they didn't hit him with some homemade, prison-made weapons out there on a recreational yard in protective custody and killed him. Shakes. I second what Sergio Quan there said. You're just not safe in prison. Apparently, he's never been in prison. I have, unfortunately, for a very long time. and you're not safe. Nothing is safe. It's a nerve-shattering experience, a soul-shattering experience. And every day I prayed and wished upon my freedom because no one's safe in there and nothing is guaranteed. The only remedy really is to stay out of there. That's just it, man. Stay out of there. As we can see, you can't even go to a protective custody yard and actually be protected. There is no protection in prison. 50-50, PC, SNY yard, doesn't matter. You lose your life over there too. Stay the hell out. Stay safe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay safe. Stay free, people.